So hello and welcome to another video on how to deploy a web server on AWS. Okay, so basically what we are going to do is we are going to host a small website on AWS. Now I'm just considering that you don't have much of an experience with AWS, but at least you have an AWS account which is created with you. So basically what we are going to do here is we are going to make use of one of the AWS services called an EC2, using which we are going to deploy a web server. Now, how can we do that? Okay, so let's begin. Let's search for. So now I have logged in into my AWS account. So now let's just search for the service called EC2. This is the service. Okay. So now if you see over here, there are 0 instances running. So instances are basically like servers that are running in the AWS environment. So now right now there are 0 services, 0 instances which are running. So let's go to instance and let's launch an instance. So once you are here, now basically what you have to do is you have to give a name to your server. Let's say I'm doing a web server Apache. Okay. And from here, basically you have to select the operating system, which would be which is actually convenient for you. Now, if you want to go ahead with Ubuntu, you can go with Ubuntu. For me, Linux barebone seems better, so I'm going with Linux CMI. It is pre-selected for me. But again, you can shift between whatever operating systems you want. You can go for Windows also. If you want to go ahead with Ubuntu, you can go ahead with Ubuntu. So I've selected that. So this is the AMI. Okay, now this is very important. So the instance type. So basically instance type is like a categories of servers that AWS provide. For example, how much RAM you want, then what would be the CPUs, how many cores you want. So all these based on that resource specifications, you get different types of instances. For example, if I just click on this, see. There is T1 micro, there is T2 nano, then there is T2 micro. Now what do we get on T1 micro? One CPU and the memory is 0.612. Then if you go ahead with T2 small, it would be 2 GB of memory with one CPU. So based on the instance that you select, basically your pricing also varies. And I am choosing T2 micro is because it's free tier eligible. That means I get around 720 hours of free usage per month. So you don't have to pay for that. So that is the reason why I am going ahead with T2 micro. Now this is another example. Now this is another very important thing, the key pair that you want to use. Now, whenever we have a server, we generally tend to log in onto into the server and fire some commands or basically use FTP for file modifications. So in order to do that on our server, basically we need to create a key pair. Now, either you can create a new pair or you can use an existing key pair which is present on your AWS. For now, I don't have a key pair, so I do have a key pair, but I don't want to use it. Let's create one from scratch. Create a new key pair. I'm giving it web server. Mm, mm, I want a PEM file. So let's create the key pair. So once created, if you see, it just got downloaded onto my system. And this is very important. Please don't share this with anyone because using this, you will be basically logging into the system, logging into the server. Now let's go down. Now these are some of the things which you might not be aware of, but if you want to go in detail about these things, it would be very complicated. So I don't want to go ahead with that. But basically, just remember this, like these are the networking concepts. If you have a basic idea of this, it would be good. If you don't, then if you simply want to launch a server, then it's okay for you. But if you want to basically enhance the security, then this is something which you should know. Now, I'll just give a brief or a basics of what you should know if you are deploying a server. So basically, we create a separate security group. Security group basically specifies the access which someone should have for this particular server. So now I'm creating a new security group, and I'm not using any one which I had created before. Second thing is allow SSH traffic from anywhere. Basically, what I'm saying is from any system and anywhere you can log in into the server. Okay, you can SSH into the server. The second thing is allow HTTPS traffic. Basically, it should your server should allow access over the internet via the HTTPS protocol. Again, same goes for HTTP also. Okay. So yes, next thing is about volume. Basically, storage capacity that your server should have. Now again, I'm not going with a big storage because I just have to demo you because I just have to show a demo. So not much of a space will be needed. So I'm just configuring it for 8 GB. And these are the things which you generally don't have to worry about because we are going with the free tier account. But yes, there is something that you have to add is basically you should be configuring Apache onto the server. So you need to provide some shell commands that will install Apache onto the server. So user data is basically the field wherein you have to enter those commands to install the Apache server. So it's basically like a script that gets executed when the server gets created or the EC2 instance get created. So I will put this down in the comment section or in the description. You can just copy paste it and use it. Mhm. So now everything is configured. Let's go ahead and launch this launch the EC2 instance. Okay, that was pretty quick. They said like it's got launched. Let's check. So now you could see the instant state is showing running, but it is still doing some status checks. So let's wait for that to be finished. Finally, the status check passed. So let's see. Let's go to this instance. It says it's connected. Let's copy this IP address. This. And just to be clear here, the HTTPS won't work. You have to use HTTP. See if it works. And yes, it worked. So basically what we had done is basically right now we have created one server, okay, which has Apache installed over it and a small script or a small, not a script actually, a small HTML file which just displays the IP of the instance. So that's it. Now in the next video, I will be showing you how to SSH into the system or basically access the file systems using first of all your terminal, and secondly I would be using FileZilla basically to access the files on particular server. Thank you.